Oh, there's some random shit hitting this channel lately. Listen, you can now broadcast live on Twitter. I think that's fantastic. I shall definitely have to try that one out. Right, I read an article in credit here goes to Richard Littlejohn, who writes for the Daily Fail. Although I think he wrote for the Sun for some years. I mean, I don't really buy the mainstream media papers anymore because they're mostly full of lies anyway. But I did used to read Richard Littlejohn a lot. Very love him or hate him. I mean, he's a very knowledgeable guy, and his politics go back to like the 50s and 60s, and I've actually picked up quite a lot of stuff off him. And he did a story yesterday about an MP, a Lord, sorry, who was an MP, is now a Lord. And the only reason, I can't remember the bloke's name, but the only reason I'm doing this is because the guy was an ex-army officer, so... sorry if you're bent now, old chap, but that does get my respect. And I'm not saying he is bent at all, and this story would seem to suggest otherwise anyway. So he takes a train. He lives in Ireland. He takes a train or the plane or whatever, and he gets to the House of Commons in Westminster. They're the House of Lords in Westminster. For a vote or whatever. And one day he was running late, and he used to get weekly return tickets or something like that. I don't really know how the whole system works, not being a commuter myself. But he used to get weekly return tickets. Anyway, he was in a rush and he bought a day return ticket or something. And apparently the difference between a day return and the weekly return is 80 pence or something. I'm not quite sure. But whatever the thing was, he offered them the cash there and then to sort of upgrade it, as it were. And they said no. And he thought, oh, sod it. Anyway, next thing he knows, I don't know if he carried on the weekly return or whatever. No. For some reason, the station guard, this is Southern Railways, this is, who are all on bloody strike at the minute, because it's the 1970s again, apparently. For some reason, the station guard then had police and station guards waiting for him at the stop. Right? So he got off, he explained the situation. Apparently the police looked embarrassed and didn't want to get involved. Can't believe that myself, actually, for a bit of easy revenue. But he made it quite clear who he was, and if there was any problems, they could contact his office at the House of Lords. Next thing he does, he's getting a court demand. Turn up in court. From these Southern Railways. These people are, it's a bit like the councils and the bailiffs and stuff. They're publicly funded, but basically they're a private business. So they can use any amount of cash they want for court cases and yada, yada, yada. And they don't have to explain themselves, because this is how this country works now. So he gets this demand to turn up at the magistrate's court, you know. Okay, fine. No. Southern Railways delay that. So then he gets another demand. Okay, fine. No, they delay that. So then he writes to them, or he gets his lawyer to write to them and say, look, what's up with the delays, you know? We want to go to court on this. Next thing he knows, you've been found guilty in your absence. They've had a court case without him there, without telling him to turn up, or asking him to turn up, and found him guilty. Now, do recall, this was over something like 80 pence. Southern Railways now have the legal costs at something like £1.50, which he has to pay. And they're talking about sending our friends the bailiffs in to recover assets. Oh, for a court case that he wasn't even attending because he didn't know it was happening. Does any of this sound fucking familiar? mean, I think it's fantastic. If the peers of the country are being hit, that's great. I love it. It just goes to show that this Southern Railways, the councils, the bailiffs, are all completely fucking out of control and don't answer to anyone or don't see themselves as answerable to anyone. And it's all the same setup. Publicly funded, private business, spend whatever cash they want, no questions have to be answered, no one is accountable, do what they want. And this all goes back to Blair. Believe me. I said so many times, when Blair was in, and unfortunately I didn't have access to YouTube then, in fact I was barely on Facebook, I don't think. I said so many times in letters to the papers and stuff like that, the problems fucking Blair has caused for this country, for everyone now, obviously, even people in the House of Lords. And people, I didn't do specifics because I don't sit there every day reading the fucking 200 new laws they were introduced last night, but it was going to come. You know, there was going to be so much shit from all the crap Blair introduced. It was unbelievable, and no one fucking realised. No one realised. It's quite incredible. So there we go. It's not just us minions, guys. It's the House of Lords as well. Lord, whatever your name is, thank you for your service to the military. But you're on your own, son. Thank you to Richard Littlejohn.